This morning on Wake Up Northwest, a handful of patients with confirmed cases of the coronavirus are on their way to Spokane to be treated in isolation.
Also, a new Oregon state law is requiring all school students to have updated immunization records.
And still to come, how date night for a crime-fighting couple turned into a lot more than just that. Wake Up Northwest starts right now.
From your home of the 2020 Tokyo Summer Olympics.
Wake up, you gotta rise to the sun. And here it comes, it's time to make the best of what you got to give. And if you ever need to see a smiling face, I know right where you can find one. Each and every day, it's all about rising. You better get ready. It's all about rising. And I wanna be there.
Good morning, everyone. It's 5 a.m. Time to wake up this Thursday, February 20th. I'd like to point out the date is 2/20/20. It's kind of fun.
It is kind of fun.
And I'm Madeline Carter, by the way.
And good morning, everyone. I'm Monty Webb. What do you say we take a look at some other numbers that do probably have a couple of twos in there?
Okay.
Some 20s. And even
there's a 20 right off the top.
Yeah, even a throwback to the 18s in the teens and everything. Morning temperatures in the teens and 20s. By the way, by noon, looking for lunchtime temperatures to warm into the low to the mid 40s with mostly sunny skies. It will be nice this afternoon. Those afternoon highs upper 40s to near 50 degrees. Will this beautiful weather continue into the weekend? To find out, you got to keep it here. I'll be back in just 10 minutes.
Right now, a handful of patients with confirmed cases of the coronavirus are headed to Spokane to be treated in isolation. A total of 5 patients will be transferred to Sacred Heart Medical Center. That's one of the only 10 centers in the nation capable of treating the virus. They have a specialized treatment center in a secured airborne infection isolation room. The CDC says that 15 patients in total have tested positive for the virus here in the U.S. The Washington State Department of Health, however, say the risk of infection in our area is still low. Now, at this point, the hospital and health district won't say where these patients are coming from or where they first contracted the virus. But we do know that a woman who you see here on your screen from Olympia, she has tested positive, and she was in fact on the cruise ship that was quarantined in Japan. She was taken to Travis Air Force Base in California along with others on that ship. And she is still there in California right now and has not shown any symptoms. Over 770 people are being monitored for the coronavirus in Washington state alone. In a crime tracker alert, a 15-year-old is facing charges in connection to several graffiti cases across 2 cities. Kennewick and Pasco police say the teen committed several graffiti crimes between Pasco and East Kennewick from November to January. Now, Kennewick police say they're in the process of investigating other suspects related to these same crimes. Pasco police are looking for the suspects who stole heavy construction equipment on Sunday night. They say they drove into a fenced compound on the 14th block of East Columbia Street, hooked their white Dodge truck up to a trailer containing a brand new excavator, and then drove off. So if you take a look at your screen here, this picture is similar to the excavator that was stolen. It's a yellow John Deere 35G model, and if you know anything about this, Pasco police want you to get in touch with them right away. New information this morning, the FBI will now take over the investigation into the city of Wapato's former administration. You may remember back in May, the state auditor found several violations of Washington laws that in turn hurt the finances of the city of Wapato. The Yakima County Sheriff's Office launched a criminal investigation into the city. A spokesperson from the Sheriff's Office says their department does not have the resources they need to handle this investigation.
We realized through the investigation that it kept getting further and further, more crimes were being found, and we didn't have the manpower or the expertise to continue on with the investigation to get it done the correct way.
We have reached out to FBI Seattle, but they won't comment on this investigation. They say, quote, "Policy does not permit us to either confirm nor deny the existence of an investigation." In education news, the president of Central Washington University is stepping down after 11 years at the helm. James Godino released a statement to students and staff saying that he has been honored to work with them. He will be in charge for one more school year, and he's expected to leave after July 31st, 2021. In case you missed it, last night's Democratic debate in Las Vegas featured non-stop fireworks and personal attacks. 6 candidates vying for the Democratic presidential nomination did not hold back to make their case for the presidency. With voting underway and candidacies on the lines, the 6 candidates often tore into each other's records and experience. Bloomberg in particular came under especially heavy fire, with his opponents finally getting a chance to confront him about the over $300 million he spent on TV advertising. Senator Elizabeth Warren targeted Bloomberg's previous statements about women and his business's use of non-disclosure agreements. Happening now, a new Oregon state law is requiring all public and private school students to update their immunization records, or else they can no longer attend school. Now, Wednesday was exclusion day in Oregon, the final day for students to show proof of their vaccinations in order to keep going to school. So the Hermiston School District says that they have been prepping for this change since November. The district partnered with the Umatilla Health Department to provide free clinics for their students. Now, after all this, their efforts are considered a success.
So we have a little bit higher than 5,600 students throughout the district. We have 32 students that were excluded from school today.
Now, if you do the math, that's only about 0.5% of students who did not have their shots. And from now on, students without the required vaccines will be flagged and will not be allowed to return to school unless they have proof of immunizations or an exemption on file with the school. And the same law does apply to daycare centers and preschools. Caught on camera the moment 2 married off-duty officers stopped an armed robbery during their date night in Louisville, Kentucky. You used to live there. Have you ever heard anything like this?
No, but these the 2 officers' names do sound familiar to me.
Oh, well, hey, you got to come to your screens and see this.
All right, so you can see Detective Chase McCowan and Officer Nicole McCowan sitting down at a table when suddenly a man walks in with a gun and points it towards a cash register. Moments later, the couple stand up, raise their own guns, and then chase the robber out of the restaurant.
Wow, and this couple, they eventually caught up with this man and held him until local police officers arrived. They say that they were just in the right place at the right time.
We're trained for those kind of situations, and when it comes to people's lives are endangered, I feel like any other officer here would have done the exact same thing.
Our conversation leading up to it had nothing to do with whether or not we're going to do anything. It was a matter of this is happening, we're trained to act, and we acted.
Wow, so it's unclear what charges, if any, that suspect may face, but well, I think the fact that they ran him out is incredible.
Yeah, I'm guessing he'll face some charges. You just can't walk into a restaurant and pull out a gun like that.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, hopefully he'll spend some time in jail. And then think about going down that path of crime and maybe turn his life around. I can be hopeful.
Yeah. Is your forecast hopeful today?
It really is. There is a lot of sunshine in the forecast after a cold start. Once again this morning, those temperatures are in the teens and 20s. We will have some frost out there as well, so just a little heads up. You may need an extra minute or two to kind of defrost your windshield. Current temperature in Yakima, 17 degrees. Winds are blowing from the west at 7 miles an hour. That's giving us a wind chill over of 8 degrees above zero, and temperatures here are in the teens and 20s for just about everyone. And out the door this morning in the Tri-Cities, as we take a look at our power planner, it is going to be a cold morning. We're talking 20s from 7 to 8 o'clock. We'll eventually make it into the lower 30s by 9. By 10, 36. Noon will jump it up to 42, and then 46 degrees by 2 o'clock. And I think we'll see a daytime high of 50 degrees. Yesterday in the Tri-Cities, we had a high of 51. And by the way, That's right about average for this time of the year. Good morning, Yakima. Nice for us this afternoon with a daytime high of 49 degrees. Lots of sunshine, but oh man, it's going to be cold this morning. Teens and 20s for us from 7 to 8. 31 degrees by noon, into the lower 40s by lunchtime, and then by 2 o'clock, right around 47 degrees. Ridge-of-high pressure still our friend here in the Pacific Northwest. It is producing something we call a split flow in the upper atmosphere. That means the jet stream is heading north and south and leaving us in that sweet spot. Here's that system that we were watching the last couple of days. I told you it would be stretched apart and kind of torn in two by that split flow. It's happening right now. Area of low pressure is developing on that southern piece of that energy off the coast of California. It's going to head south, leaving us alone. We could see a few mid and high level clouds kind of moving up into southeastern Washington later in the day, but that's about it. That other weak little system out of the Pacific will be torn in two. And then the system for Sunday is looking a lot weaker than it has over the last couple of days. So we may end up having a better looking weekend than we thought earlier in the week. Highs here today, we'll say upper 40s to near 50 degrees. Another cold night with those lows in the teens and 20s. And here's that extended forecast. Moving into Friday, 51 degrees Tri-Cities, 50 Yakima. Increasing clouds by Saturday evening with highs in the mid-50s. We'll do mid-50s on Sunday, a breezy day. And now it's just looking like a slight chance for some widely scattered showers later in the afternoon and evening. Back into some sunshine for next week, and temperatures next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday generally in the low to the mid 50s. And we will be back.
Right now, airports across the nation are warning the Trump administration about a looming crisis.
Yeah, many state DMVs are struggling with the high demand for the new Real ID that you'll need really soon to just get onto a plane. Tom Costello explains.
Growing concern that TSA checkpoints could become choke points on October 1st. Flights delayed, passengers unable to leave or return home. The nation's airports now warning of a looming meltdown.
So the nation's airports have told the administration this is a crisis. And my message to them is act on it. We can't wait any longer. Delay this thing.
The problem? While states have now issued 95 million Real IDs, that's just 34% of the total. 2/3 of Americans have just over 7 months to upgrade or risk not being able to fly. Nationwide, DMV offices are packed with frustrated citizens trying to upgrade their licenses, making appointments months in advance and bringing the required paperwork. From New York,
I mean, it's packed in there. The line's out the door. People are very upset, frustrated.
To California.
I didn't want to wait in a 5-hour line, so I had to take off today, even with an appointment, to get my Real ID.
Congress passed the Real ID law after 9/11 to create a single national standard for all 50 states. IDs that are verified from multiple sources and harder to counterfeit, designated by a star or a state logo. But many states are behind. New Jersey can't keep up. Washington state suggests getting a passport is faster. Oklahoma won't start issuing Real IDs until April 30th. Oregon won't start until July.
If we worked 24/7, we'd have to do 7 a minute to get the number of licenses out by October. But there's no way that we could do 7 a minute.
No indication that Homeland Security will extend the deadline, but is considering ways to speed up the process.
All right, well, it is 5:17. You're watching Wake Up Northwest.
On, your top health alerts.
Ranch and Home brings you the fishing forecast. When you think about fishing, think Ranch and Home.
And good Thursday morning. Thinking about heading out and about early this morning, whether it be for a day of fishing or maybe just that morning commute, bundle up. It is cold outside. Morning temperatures teens and 20s. When you factor in a little bit of light breeze that we have, we're talking about wind chill temperatures here early this morning for many of us into the single digits. What about a fishing forecast for today? Lots of sunshine. Winds are going to be fairly light and variable throughout the day. No chance of rain here, and we're looking for daytime highs to be near 50 degrees. What about the next several days? Friday, more sunshine, highs in the lower 50s. Saturday, a mild day as we climb into the mid 50s with increasing clouds by the afternoon. Breezy on Sunday and just a slight chance for a stray shower, and back to dry weather by Monday. Here's a look at some temperatures elsewhere. Ellensburg looking for a high of 46. Good morning, Walla Walla. You're looking at a high this afternoon of 48 degrees. Madeline.
It's 5:22. If you're just waking up, here's what you need to know. Eating a big breakfast may actually be good for you. Now, in this small study, German researchers had 16 men either eat a low-calorie breakfast and a high-calorie dinner, or vice versa. Now, at the end of the 3 days, the men burned twice as many calories when they ate the larger meal in the morning. In fact, scientists say that eating a low-calorie breakfast resulted in an increased appetite, especially when it came to sweets. New research suggests dietitian-led therapy could help older Americans lose weight. The study tracked over 2,000 women over age 65 who were being treated for obesity. Women who had regular meetings with a registered dietitian lost more weight than those who did not have counseling at all. They also had a greater drop in blood sugar and were able to reduce their prescription medication. An estimated 39.8% of the general adult population in the U.S. is currently obese. A new study reveals taking certain antibiotics during early pregnancy may increase the risk of major birth defects. The warning involves macrolide antibiotics. There are a couple different examples of this, but they're used in patients who are allergic to penicillin. Researchers found the use of macrolides in the first trimester of pregnancy was linked to a higher risk of birth defects, especially in the heart when compared to penicillin. And these increased risks were not observed in children whose mothers took macrolides later in pregnancy, like the second and third trimesters. They say that these macrolides should be used with caution for expecting mothers. Well, it is now 5:23. You're watching Wake Up Northwest, and we are taking a look at your full weather forecast. And still to come, a famous McDonald's shake turns 50. Which one is it? You'll find out in just a bit. But first, your SWX Sports Update coming up in 3 minutes.
And good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Wake Up Northwest. It is a cold start once again. For the last several mornings, we've had sunny days, nice, pleasantly warm afternoons, and then very cold nights. And it's another start like that. Teens and 20s here for us. And your school day forecast, kids are going to need to dress warm. Kind of a cold wait. Morning temperatures in the 20s by 8. Cool for their lunchtime recess, but sunshine and 42. And then sunny this afternoon at 3 as they head home from school, and 49 degrees. Here's a look at temperatures over the next several days. We're talking about another sun-filled day for your Friday with 51 degrees, partly sunny, a bit warmer on Saturday, 54, and then breezy on Sunday with a daytime high of 57.
German police are still at the scene of a mass shooting in the city of Hanau Wednesday night.
Yeah, the mass shooting left 11 people dead, including the suspect. It is possible the shooter may have had a far right-wing motive behind that. That's become an issue in Germany here as of recent years. Federal prosecutors are taking over the investigation. Now, 9 people were killed at 2 hookah bars overnight. Police later found the suspected shooter and another person at a house not far from the second bar.
Police are still working to confirm the identities of those 2 bodies. Now, this is still an ongoing investigation. We'll be sure to keep you updated as we learn more. Roger Stone will be sentenced today. Judge Amy Berman Jackson ruled that she will consider his latest request for a new trial and give him time to appeal after she makes her sentencing judgment.
Yes, Stone's defense team is asking for a new trial, claiming the foreperson on his jury was biased against him. Stone was convicted last year of 7 charges of obstruction, lying to Congress, and witness tampering. His sentencing is scheduled for later this morning.
Continuing coverage, 2 suspects have pleaded not guilty to murder charges in a shooting last month in downtown Seattle.
Yeah, 24-year-old Marquise Tolbert and William Tolbert are in the King County Jail right now. Documents show that the shooting started when the 2 men met Jamel Jackson outside a McDonald's restaurant in Seattle, and that's when the shooting started.
Jackson has pleaded not guilty to a charge of unlawful possession of a gun. His bail is set at $250,000. The shooting left 1 woman dead and 7 other people injured, including just a young boy. In education news, being an adult usually means having to be better with money, right? Well, the Hermiston School District is tackling that by helping kids get a first start with budgeting.
Yeah, this is a great idea. Taylor Hilo talked with the students and the staff to see how this class is really helping them out.
A fake job, a fake life, but a very real lesson. Hermiston High School seniors were assigned a career, salary, and then challenged to budget out their lives.
There's been good aha moments with the students, that things that, that cost. Maybe you don't need that new vehicle. Maybe you can make do with a used vehicle.
Many students coming to the realization that budgeting is hard.
You're out of diapers. Congratulations. That's a good thing to have.
In real life, saving money is not always on the front of a teenager's mind. That's why the Hermiston School District decided it's not just the core subjects that are a necessity in the classroom.
There's always need, because budgeting is never a something that you automatically know. It's something that you learn.
It's a lesson some took very seriously. So seriously, one student decided to do it twice.
I wanted to get 2 aspects of it. So I wanted to get one when I was married and had a kid, and then one where I was single and didn't have any kids, and see what it would come out to be.
Senior Nathan Wheeler decided he wanted to be prepared for anything life could throw at him. Now that he's gone through the program twice, he has some advice.
You can't ever spend more than you make. Otherwise, you will go in debt.
Seemingly simple words from a fake day, but a very real statement.
Now, this program will be offered every year so that all students get the life skills they need to succeed as an adult when it comes to money.
Yeah, I think that's a wonderful idea. I was just saying during the story, I like budgeting. I know that may sound a little crazy, but it is such a comfort to have it all worked out where you know where your money is going, and then you don't have to stress. I mean, you may have to stress if you don't have enough money to stretch things out, but budget.
Yeah, and as someone who just recently learned to budget myself, I wish I would have had a class like that in school.
Yeah, it should be mandatory.
I didn't. I know. Thanks for my dad, though. He's great. Also, we do have an interesting story to show you. A paraglider made an unexpected landing into some power lines in California on Wednesday.
Yeah, that's kind of shocking, and the crash happened just after 5 o'clock in the evening yesterday. Crews were on the scene for more than 3 hours before that paraglider was freed. During the rescue, that man that was hanging in those power lines was awake and talking to those first responders.
Wow, this incident, it caused over 2,000 people in the area to lose power as officials were working to save the man. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, and I guess they were able to save him. Kind of scary. All right, it is now 5:37. You're watching Wake Up Northwest. Coming up, we'll take a look at your full forecast.
And we have Wake Up
Good Thursday morning, everyone. Welcome back to Wake Up Northwest. A nice, clear, quiet, and cold start to our morning. 17 degrees our current temperature. You factor in a little bit of a light wind out of the west at 7, making it feel more like 8 degrees. So hat, gloves, heavier coat, yeah, kind of a good idea here early this morning. You may also need a few extra minutes to kind of warm up your vehicle. There'll probably be some frost on the windshield, so just a heads up on that. We're sitting at 20 degrees right now in the Tri-Cities, 28 in Walla Walla. And finally, Meacham, you're a little bit warmer compared to the last couple of mornings. A few clouds around your area, and you're sitting at 23 degrees. So out the door this morning at 7 o'clock for that morning drive into work or school. Turn up the heat. You'll need it. Grab your shades because we've got a lot of sunshine in that forecast today. Morning temperatures at 7 in the teens to 20s. Sunny and we'll say a cool lunch, but not bad. Right about where we should be for this time of the year. Low to the mid-40s and then heading home from work at 5 o'clock. That weather is going to be nice for that evening drive home with temperatures in the upper 40s. So here's the setup today. That ridge of high pressure, yes, it is still our friend, giving us dry weather and sunshine across the two-state region. Now, we talked about this yesterday, that split flow in the upper atmosphere, sending part of the jet stream north, the other part to the south. Remember that front that we were showing you yesterday? Well, it has stretched and it's been pulled in two. Piece of that energy going up north, another one south, where an area of low pressure is developing. Now, we don't need to worry about that low because it will continue its southerly trek into California, leaving us alone. We may just see some mid and high level clouds at times today. Next disturbance out in the Pacific, running into that split flow again, being pulled into. And then that system that we were talking about for Sunday, models are now suggesting it's going to be quite a bit weaker than we originally thought. So that's actually some pretty decent news. 49 today with a cold morning in Pendleton. Not a bad afternoon. 38 in Meacham, about 50 in Milton Freewater. Upper 40s to near 50 from Walla Walla back into Touchy Connell. Good morning. Daytime high for you of about 49 degrees. Near 50 in the Tri-Cities. And we'll do mid-40s to the upper 40s from Ellensburg all the way into Sunnyside. Here's a quick peek at that extended forecast. Lower 50s on Friday, more sunshine, increasing clouds late Saturday with highs in the mid-50s, and then breezy and warmer on Sunday with highs around 57 Tri-Cities, 55 in Yakima. We'll be back after this.
Wake Up Your Money is sponsored by Numerica Credit Union.
It's 5:47 and this morning's Wake Up Your Money. Building up your emergency savings account or paying down your credit card debt. Which one do you choose? Well, a new survey is out this morning asking which one of those is more important.
All right, so Bankrate.com conducted that survey and found just under half of Americans, 49% to be exact, have more emergency savings than credit card debt.
Now, that's better than last year, which was 44%, but still lower than at any point from 2011 to 2018, which ranged from 51% to 58%.
And 45% of American households say increasing emergency savings is a higher priority, while 38% say paying down debt is more important.
Well, we have exciting news for the McDonald's Shamrock Shake. It's turning 50.
It is. So the Shamrock Shake was created way back in 1967, but started being served in restaurants in 1970 to celebrate St. Patty's Day, which means it turns 50 this year.
Yes, and in 1974, it became a huge hit. And sales from the shake actually helped build the very first Ronald McDonald House in Philadelphia. I didn't know that.
Me either.
Well, to celebrate this year, the chain is, of course, bringing the shake back, but they're also introducing a new Oreo Shamrock McFlurry. Yum, to accompany the original shake, and you can see that on the right hand of your screen.
I might try that Oreo.
That looks delicious.
Shamrock
It
shake.
reminds me of like the Dairy Queen Oreo, mint Oreo Blizzard. Kind of looks the same.
It does. I bet you it tastes pretty good. It is now 5:48. You're watching Wake Up Northwest.
We have your full weather forecast and morning rush coming up in just 3 minutes. Oh, but first, we're kicking off a new segment to showcase some awesome pets in our area.
So every morning we'll highlight our pet of the day. But today, what does he have around his neck?
I don't know.
Is that the cone of shame? You know, when you...
No? I don't think so.
All right. So today, like I said, is National Love Your Pet Day. And all of these pets are our pets of the day. We'll be back after this. And good Thursday morning, everyone. Another cold start with temperatures in the teens and 20s. Let's see, the cold spot, I'm going to say Yakima at 17 degrees and Walla Walla, one of the warmer spots, as well as Pendleton, where temperatures there are in the upper 20s to the lower 30s. What about your morning walk or your morning run forecast? Well, temperatures at 6 o'clock in the teens and 20s. We'll keep it in the 20s here by 8 o'clock. It is going to be a cold run here this morning and just a little bit warmer at 10 and 36 degrees. Afternoon highs right about where they should be for this time of the year, so I hope you have a chance to get outside and enjoy it. The last couple of afternoons have been just stunning out there. 49 degrees in Yakima, 48 Walla Walla. Tri-Cities looking for a daytime high of 50 degrees. You can see everyone for the most part in the upper 40s to near 50. A little cooler but still nice, and 46 in Ellensburg. Quick look at that 7-day forecast shows sunshine at lower 50s for Friday, mid 50s on Saturday with increasing clouds, and a breezy and a mild day on Sunday with highs in the 50s. Madeline.
It's 5:54. Here's your morning rush. The Yakima County Sheriff's Office wants to let you know that a level 3 sex offender is now living in the Yakima area. So if you take a look at your screen, police say 45-year-old Trenton Wells is living on the 2300 block of East Bridge Street. He was convicted of child molestation and rape back in 2012, and he is not wanted by police at this time. Well, forms for the 2020 census will be mailed out in less than a month, so here are some key dates that you need to keep in mind. Between March 12th and the 20th, you'll get an invitation to fill out the census online. Some households will even get paper questionnaires. And then between March 24th and April 27th, if you haven't filled out the census, you'll then get a reminder postcard. And if you don't fill that out, then they will start knocking on your door. So for more information about the census, you can visit 2020census.gov. As you head out the door this morning, a bus route for the Yakima Transit is on a detour to avoid the Yakima Convention Center construction. So come here and take a look at your screen. Here's the map of the area. Outbound Route 12 has a detour at 8th Street and Yakima Avenue. Now you can see that highlighted in red. It detours to 6th Street and then continues north to MLK Jr. Boulevard, then continuing toward 8th Street. This detour will be in place for about a month. And also, a crack ceiling project is causing delays on Summit View Avenue in Yakima. This is a reminder that city crews will be filling in cracks on the road between 56th and 66th Avenues. The project is expected to finish by Friday, and there will be flaggers on site from 7 in the morning until 3:30 in the afternoon today and tomorrow. Well, stick around. We have all sorts of things coming up on Wake Up Northwest this morning, like Wake Up Your Real Estate and Self-Care 101.
And in weather, we're tracking more sunshine and then a little warming trend.